Yeah, I'm in the garage today, and it's because I'm having a problem with the engine. And the first thing we always think about is that damn CVT transmission. So I had the catastrophic failure with my CVT cooler. I had my own rookie mistake and over-tightened the C-clamp that it came with, or that I bought, which are really sharp edges. Here is what it looks like, that one. And I got into emergency mode and fixed it myself, cleaned everything up as best as I thought I could. I took it to my mechanic to have him look over the CVT transmission. And after that, I started test driving my car, you know, to make sure that everything was working right. Hit it on a wide open throttle, and I started feeling that slipping movement, that you know. But here's the thing. It was a hiccup between 3,000 and 4,000 RPMs, and sometimes between, you know, 3.5 to 5,000 RPMs on fourth gear when I was wide open throttle. When I drove the car normally, it didn't really slip. So what did I do? I went to the air intake and I cleaned the air filter, and I cleaned the mass airflow sensor. And I even thought that I damaged it, bought a new one and replaced it, and I still had this hiccup. And that's where I thought, yep, it's definitely my CVT. Wrong. It's not always your CVT. Even my mechanic was like, dude, you're not hearing a whine, you're not getting any heat, any smoke, you're not getting any of that stuff. I know you think it's the CVT slipping, but it's something else. And my mechanic was right. I'm looking at it, and I get underneath it, and I put a flashlight around, and I still see grease in certain areas. Where do I see it? Near the spark plug areas. My spark plugs have gotta be dirty. So I'm gonna get through this, and I'm gonna clean it up, and we're gonna show you how it's not always your CVT. You gotta be just like a mechanic. You gotta troubleshoot your issues and not always blame the transmission, even though you do drive an automatic. The CVT is not bad. All right, so let's not forget, thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, and subscribe. This is Guzman's Random Review, and we're about to clean this area. We're gonna do some troubleshooting actually, but we're also gonna clean it, all right? So let's get through this. So here we go. I'm gonna shine some light on this situation for you. As you can see, man, that's a good magnet. As you can see, my CVT fluid has gotten all the way in there, so that's a little nasty, but that's spongy. Now, my EBC and all that stuff, that's lightly greased with some CVT fluid, which I need to get in there and clean that, which I will. But the main issue right here, if I can get around it, that right there, there's your coil right there for your two. That's one of those spark plugs, and the other one is right next to it. And hopefully you guys can see it, but it's got some sheen to it. I'll move the light around to see if you guys can see it on camera. But right there, that's grease. That is CVT grease. So I'm pretty sure CVT fluid got in there and just basically is messing up the connection and not allowing me to get the horsepower. So I got the first coil off, the rear, the one closest to the passenger, and you know what? Yeah, like I said before, it's not always your CVT. Look at my hand. You guys can see that? It's been about 2 weeks. This stuff didn't dry off, and I've driven this car at least 40-50 miles since the last since I serviced it or whatever. I drove it at least a full tank of gas. How about that? And this stuff didn't get cooked off by the heat. Here is the terminal where it plugs in, or the, you know, whatever, it plugs into the plastic. This is completely soaked like it happened yesterday. Now I know 100% that this is definitely the cause of my issue. So I'm just gonna have to use some of my degreaser. I'm gonna have to use some electronic cleaner. I wanna make sure this grease doesn't stay on here. The good part is that this coil right here is dry. I'm pretty sure that the connection was the issue up top. And as I can see down here, yeah, this is gonna need to get sprayed down. But either way, yeah, I already found the culprit, and I'm pretty sure the other one is just as greasy. Here's the other one, just to prove a point that, yeah, see, pretty nasty. right there. You guys can see it. If you can't, sorry, but yeah, this is completely covered in grease. Yeah, I'll get to the terminals and I'll clean those out. And I see that I've created an issue. Sorry for the weird angle, but this is how I can get my camera on this counter. I need some space. So anyway, so this is just wiped down and it's still got some grease to it. This one is the first one I took out. You can actually see it's dry now. What I did was I sprayed some MAF airflow sensor spray. It's safe on electronics and plastics, and all you have to do is spray it and get all that plastic cleaned off. It cleans the plastic really well. Like, it's drying right before my eyes on the plastic, and this is heavy duty grease, so I need a heavy duty product that's going to be safe on electronic parts, and this stuff is. Just giving you a heads up, this is what your coils look like for your WRX, and these suckers have got to be clean. Here's your coil pack. It's completely dry. The connection in there, well, it is what it is. It's stuck in that little spot. I can't yank it out, thoroughly clean it. So I did my best to get some air compressor to get some of the air, some liquids out of the corners and stuff. I took some Q-tips and I got into the nook and crannies. I took a microfiber towel. Pretty much, you get the idea if you've been through some sort of this process, is you want all the dirt and grease out from the connection of these prongs and the actual connector. That connection's there. This connection, as you can see, is dry and clean as best as possible. So I've got these two pieces ready to go. All right, everybody, I also wanted to show you something before I take it on a test drive. I took out the bottom because I wanted to show you how much grease CVT fluid, or even engine oil for that matter, could cause havoc on your bottom parts. So here you go. Look, and this is already cleaned up. This is just coming from the sponginess of that radiator. So I'm not leaking fluid anymore. All this is leftover funness, right? And the thing is, you know, it could splatter all over my engine, and it did on the passenger side, which went straight up into my spark plugs. And I've just got to get back in here and I've got to re-clean this again. And yes, the splash guard was completely covered still, and I did a decent job, apparently. Not good enough, but a decent job. But as you can see, the bottom of my car is covered still 2 weeks later in this stuff. Okay, so getting to a straightaway, and I know I just plugged everything back in, so don't want to give it too much of a pull right now. I just want to, you know, see where I'm at. So let's see here if I can make sure I got my miles per hours on me. Check this out. Nice and cool. Just doing 30. Everything sounds normal. And I'm already in 5th gear, not feeling anything crazy. But remember, it was when I was wide open throttle that I was in 3,000, 4,000 RPMs that I was feeling like little jumps as it keeps moving forward. Check it down to 3. Hiccup, but you know what? It's in a different spot. So most likely those spark plugs need to come out. Very faint, which is very interesting that it did it. So I really wonder if, because now it's not jerking. It wasn't a jerk. Now it's a smooth, you could hear it tap, tap, tap. So it's got to be the spark plugs, or it's got to be the connection that is still maybe a little, you know, touchy. Could be. So all I can do is try again, take them out, clean out the spark plugs, and then if it's not that, move on to the BPV. You know, see if the bypass valve, blow-up bypass valve, is actually having an issue there. Other than that, I've pretty much done all I can do, and that's really it. So this is Guzman from Guzman's Random Review. Comment below, have you had situations like this where you just had to keep on cleaning it? Comment below, thumbs up, thumbs down. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you get a notification every single time I come up with another video. Again, this is Guzman for Guzman's Random Review. See you in the next one.